My name is Mike Condon, and 2 years ago, my bride, Mary Sue, was the recipient of this award. We started coming to the Fighting Back Gym about 10 years ago to help Mary Sue maintain strength after being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I can't tell you how much she looks forward to this physical therapy, getting the muscles moving and stretched by your trainer, Mike Guzzo. Tonight, we'd like to recognize another very important partner in the Fighting Back program, and that's the caregiver. For me, it's an honor and privilege to be able to be a part of caring for my wife. Had I written my life script, this chapter would have not been written this way, but that's the beauty of life. We don't write the script. We adapt to the circumstances of our lives. We have the opportunity to handle the twists and turns of what happens in the course of time, and therein is the caregiver's challenge. We can deal with it with grace and determination, or another way. I prefer the former. My goal, and I'm sure for most of you caregivers here, is to do whatever it takes to make life better, easier, and more comfortable for our loved ones. I have always been cognizant of those less fortunate than me, from demonstrating common courtesy, a smile, holding the door, or lending an arm. It was just second nature. But as multiple sclerosis has chipped away at my bride's ability to do some of the simple things in life, her condition has made me keenly aware of hers and other people's challenges. The Fighting Back program enables us, the caregivers, to observe exercise regimens and learn how to take the care at the gym home. The Fighting Back program allows the caregivers to share experiences and resources that have made their journey a little easier. The Fighting Back program gives the caregiver the optimism of stability or progress with their loved one. I have met so many wonderful people filled with joy and possessing such positive attitudes through the Fighting Back program, and I do feel part of the Fighting Back family. On behalf of the Board of Directors, the founder Scott Roman, and all of our dedicated and wonderful trainers, will all of you caregivers please stand for just a moment so that we can recognize the other heroes who also live with courage, desire, and perseverance.
I have an exciting announcement. I just hit 10,000 steps in my Fitbit. We'd like to begin this evening with an invocation from a personal mentor of mine, Dr. Richard Street.
Scott said I had 45 minutes for this prayer, but actually I'm only going to take about 45 seconds. Okay, so let us pray together. Almighty God, we thank you for Scott and this ministry, for the food we've had, that we will have, for this fellowship, for Troy, Amlan, Will, and all the others who have made such progress with this magnificent program. Continue to bless it, bless Scott, bless all those who work with it, and help us to know that you love us in spite of ourselves. Amen. Amen. Oh, and bless the food.
Tonight you will meet three individuals who have demonstrated the spirit of our program: courage, desire, and perseverance after a life-changing injury or illness. But before I introduce you to tonight's honorees, I would like to recognize a very special group of people who have made the 23rd Annual Achievement Night possible. I want to thank the Scholarship Review Team, Lois, Josette, Janet, and Randy, who review all of our scholarship applications and evaluate our current scholarship recipients to ensure the integrity of our mission. To Dan for videotaping the night. To David Campley for the beautiful pictures you take capturing the spirit of this program. To Dr. Streeter for always putting me at ease through prayer. He's done that for about 20 years now. To the Upper Mainline YMCA branch of the YMCA of Greater Brandywine for their ongoing support of this mission. To ReMed, their staff, and Joanne Finnegan for the great work that you do and the support throughout the years. To Bryn Mawr Rehab for all the wonderful work you start and for the many people you send us to help us continue that mission. To Christine Calabretto, you just did a fantastic job helping us to organize this night. And to your reception team, Wes, Gianna, Mike, Ellen, and Emily, and the Penn Liberty team, thank you so much for your help. To Celia Palantonio, 20 years, it has been an honor to work with you on this program. To Carol Schmershel for your commitment to this organization, and to Carol, Bill, and Marie for always making that program better. To Patty Bosco for taking charge and always making seating work. Not sure how she did it, but you're all in. Some are out there watching it on TV. And to the generosity of this to your generosity to this organization. To Mark Caldwell for your website that accurately reflects our mission. To Doug and Tu, what a year of contribution in so many different ways. To all the family members and caregivers here tonight, the role you play in keeping Fighting Back alive. And to my wife Laura, who is my rock. Many people come up and thank me after the night, so tonight thank her. Because without her this wouldn't be possible. You know, because of the role that I play, I always get all the attention, but as we all know that are married, she deserves it. So please thank her tonight. To my children, Vincent and Selena, I love you. You guys are great kids, and I love sharing this with you. And to the trainers, all I can say about the trainers is when we knew we were going to have a crowd like this, I asked them if they could be outside with their guests and their family members. And without a doubt, they all said it won't be a problem. I don't want to talk to them. I want to talk to the many people here, their loved ones that are here tonight. Many of them are sitting in the parking lot watching this on the Jumbotron. This is an amazing group of people. As you know, this job is not about the money. There are very few jobs where you can make a difference in people's lives. You should be proud of them, and you should tell them that. They earn that each and every day. And I am very proud to work with each one of them. It's an amazing group. They're very, very special people. And you're going to see 3 of the trainers that work with the honorees tonight, but there are hundreds of people in here that work with everybody else that's out there with their family and loved ones. And they all deserve to be credited and honored for the work they do. A special thank you to Ed Gold and Kevin Connor. Ed and Kevin are just incredibly generous people. They've been working with us for a long time and continue to be the foundation of this program. And to Bill and Marie Orr, you know, you have had such an impact on this program and continue to make such a difference, helping us to grow in so many different ways. At this time, Kevin Connor would like to recognize the sponsors who make tonight possible.
Thank you, Scott. If anybody didn't notice, he did his 10,000 steps right here between 7:11 and 7:15 to make sure he started on time. So, good evening, and what a turnout. So, thank you all for being here. As Scott said, my name is Kevin Connor. This is my 11th year of head of fundraising for the Fighting Back Scholarship Program, and I can't think of a job any more rewarding than that. What I'd like to do is recognize the group that helps me and the group that put tonight together. So for Doug and Toop and your efforts on the fundraising, thank you. You've been doing it forever. And the event committee of Patty Bosco, Christine Calabretta, and Marie Orr, thanks to all of you for making tonight special. It's my pleasure to recognize the generous contributions from individuals, corporations, and foundations that have made this whole program possible. As of today, we have 60 clients on scholarship. And that's either once a week or twice a week, and that number every year gets bigger and bigger thanks to the support of all of you. What I'd like to do is first say thank you to anybody that financially supports Fighting Back, so if we can, to everybody. I'm going to recognize the executive level sponsors, and then I'm going to bring up 2 special people in my life to introduce us to tonight's event sponsor. And since there's 17 executive level sponsors, I'm just going to read through the list. We can hold our applause to the end, please, because if we asked everybody to stand up, that could throw Scott's whole program out of whack. I look back in my notes, and I think it was 4 years ago, we had 5 executive level sponsors, and today we have 17. So I'm going to get this wrong, but Actelion is a pharmaceutical company, and we have a representative, Samantha Kumis, who came in from San Francisco in support of the program. The Baxter Family Foundation, Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, Patty and John Bosco, BrandShare, Kobe Council on Brain Injury, the Conley Foundation, Gail and Jack Craig, Eleanor and Hal Davis, Elite Company Charitable Foundation, a name that was mentioned earlier, and a dear friend to me and to Fighting Back, Ed Gold, Patrice and Jeff Grossman, Toot and Doug Geyer, whose name we've heard repeatedly, our friends at Penn Liberty Bank, Remed, Sean Rooney, and Sherry Lambert. So for all the executive level sponsors, our thanks. I'd like now to bring up Doug Geyer and Jim Infortuna to introduce us tonight to tonight's event level sponsor. Guys.
I want to take a minute to introduce you to a couple guys, special people that have been in my life since my Wayne Little League baseball days 45 years ago. My name's Doug Geyer. Me and my wife, Toot, have been really feel it's honored to be part of this organization that Scott built really for the last 22 years since he formulated it. Literally the first annual achievement night was 50 people perhaps, and look at it today, and it's been like this for the last 7, 8, 9 years. It's just been outrageous, and now we have standing room only. Now, if you've been to this event before, you know how special it is. It's going to be amazing. If you haven't, look out. But if you have, I bet you've been like me. On the way home, you're driving and you're thinking how amazing it was, and you're going, I must be a really blessed guy, because one of my 9 brothers or sisters, my 83-year-old mom and dad, my in-laws, my sons, my wife, have ever had to need the services of Fighting Back, which means they never had a life-changing illness or accident. We never got that call at 2 in the morning. Wow, aren't we blessed? But early last year, Jim and I and the friends of Ozzy got that call with one of our good friends, Mike Ozzy O'Sullivan. Didn't show up for work that Monday, and he's always there. So a friend checked on him, and he was unconscious, and he's been that way, the doctor said, for 16 hours. He had a brain bleed. So he spent the next 20 days in a coma at Paoli. Then he went from there to rehab in Paoli Hospital for weeks, and then to Bryn Mawr Rehab for more weeks. And then he's released, like many of the Fighting Back members we have here. You're released. But are you ready? Are you ready to go back to work? Are you ready to walk, talk, be socially active? Perhaps not. And that's exactly why Scott had the foresight 23 years ago to start Fighting Back, for those exact time and place and reasons. That's why it was so important, because Ozzy wasn't ready at that point. Cheryl's been a rock, his fiancée, a rock. He's the caregiver that Mike talked about. Oh my gosh. Like Ron and everyone else here that does care every hour, every day. Okay, we parachute in as friends, every now and then, have lunch, which is nice, but caregivers are there every minute of every hour of every day. And it's amazing. So what my Wayne Little League catcher, Jim Infortuna, did is I gave him a call and said, you have to know about this Fighting Back program. You just got to know that. Ozzy's perfect candidate for it. And then with an email, the buds, the friends of Ozzy, the guys that sit at, some of them at table number 10, raised enough for 6 months of scholarship, and then at the end of 6 months, the doctor said, we need more, and he was getting more. So boom, another email went out, more funds came in, and that's just the power of friendship that is really important that we wanted to talk about tonight. And there's no better person in this room to talk about the power of friendship than my good friend Jim Infortuna.
Every journey you hear tonight there's going to be a lot of common items. Item 1 is the perseverance of the individual that's affected. Item 2 is the support of one person. In the case of Ozzy, that person is Cheryl. When God was creating angels, he created overtime. But the third is the support group, the circle of friends that does it. And our group of friends is, I'm not going to say it's unique, because every group of friends is. Ours has an average tenure of over 35 years. In the case of Doug and I, we don't speak for 34 of them. But the short story is it's support that maintains the perseverance. And I just want to say that this entire program is a wonderful thing. And the perseverance of my friend Michael and the friendship of the Friends of Ozzy will endure, just as the stories you're about to hear. Thank you.
At this time, Mike Duza would like to recognize the trainers that make Fighting Back possible. But I'm not going to let him. This guy is the guy that leads all the trainers. And this guy, as we say, we have a very diverse group. I like to say we have apples, bananas, and pears. Okay? We have a wonderful group of people, but this guy makes an incredible difference. I call him a game changer. He's been a game changer, and he's still a game changer. So he deserves a lot of applause.
Well, I hope I fulfill all my speech here. There's nothing more calming in difficult moments than knowing there's someone fighting with you. I'll read that again for you. There's nothing more calming in difficult moments than knowing there's someone fighting with you. This is a quote from Mother Teresa. I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of the outstanding work the trainers and the staff of the Fighting Back program do every day. To me, I think much of what Mother Teresa was trying to say in her quote is simply, we all need each other. Regardless of age, financial status, gender, political affiliation, race, education, religion, or health. We all have one thing in common, we are all human. All of us deal with life issues every day. There isn't one of us here tonight who doesn't have some issue in their life that they're struggling with right now. Some of these issues are large, some of them are small. Some of them are quickly remedied, and some are not. The participants in this program are fighters. Fighters do whatever it takes to weather the storm. They accept the hand that has been dealt to them, but they take advantage of every opportunity to make themselves better. A fighter possesses three qualities: courage, desire, and perseverance. These are the same qualities that the Fighting Back program stands for, and the very reason our three honorees are being honored here tonight. So you ask, what could anyone else possibly offer in addition to helping a fighter who possesses these three qualities? Well, let me tell you. Courage, it needs trust. Trust that you have their back through the challenges that lie ahead. Desire needs direction. A direction towards results that are practical and obtainable. Perseverance needs patience. The patience to work through obstacles that come along the way. Trust, direction, and patience. These are the qualities our staff provides to the Fighting Back program and what makes it a special program that it is today. So normally at this time I ask the trainers to stand up for us to give them a round of applause, but most of them are sitting in the nosebleeds section today. So I ask you to, if you see them after the night's over or in your gathering here, just to thank them and tell them the great job they do. So, thank you.
So why have all these people come together to support this local organization? It's because of our two reasons for being. Our first mission is to recognize individuals at the Achievement Night. Tonight we will recognize our 68th, 69th, and 70th honoree. Our second mission is to provide scholarships to individuals who are fighting back, have a financial need, and also demonstrate the character consistent with our program values. Fighting Back is a fee-for-service program. Our scholarships cover the direct costs associated with the program. This year we have supported over 50 people, and as Kevin said, we currently have over 60 people on scholarship. And the need still outweighs the support we can provide. It is my privilege to announce this year's honorees. Amlan Dasgupta, Will Rollins, and Troy Roundtree. And it is now my pleasure to introduce the 68th Achievement Night honoree, Amlan.
When I first met Debbie, and she said, okay, you had a stroke, I'm very sorry for that, but the vacation is over, let's get to work. That's what she meant about it, and that's what I needed to hear. She started pushing me from day one. It was not a cookie cutter approach. That's what I liked. Like, she pushed me. She pushed me to do things and stuff like that, and I had to perform. See, what I realized is, if a trainer is going to get interested in you, you have to show some interest in yourself. You have to show some hard work. And she made me do things which I failed at first. And during the process, the definition of bravery for me changed. It's like when you fail at something, at the end of the day, there's this little voice which tells me that I will try harder next day.
Yes.
That's what I call bravery. See, knowledge talks, wisdom listens.
Yes.
So I knew if I have to get better, I have to listen to her. I don't have to question every method of her, and that's what made me. She had a huge impact in my life. She, when you push harder, get better, and it's like double whammy for me. Along with Debbie, she took over. Means I couldn't get a respite when I get back home. It's her, when I was not seeing Debbie, she pushed me at home. We didn't take a break between the sessions here at Fighting Back. We practiced hard. I think I will be 100% in a couple of months or so. I have full confidence.
You know what the saying is? Don't show up, just show up to prove. Show up to improve. And that's what truly happens here. People show up here and they improve. Not only they prove. And plus, trainers are very passionate about what they do. They live by what they are doing. I mean, Debbie is passionate about what she's doing. And that's what makes her so amazing. And she transfers. It's a huge honor. It is a huge honor to be picked by amongst all these people. And
Yeah.
I mean, everybody who comes here to Fight Back is truly a winner.
You have like people who are recovering all there, right? But when you come to this environment, there are two kinds of people. People who are undergone a stroke or some kind of TBI and they are fighting back, and then they are the normal people. So when you see those normal people working hard, you realize you were there once, right? And you will be there again.
Yes.
So that gives you the... When I came here first, I couldn't do 2 minutes of treadmill, right? I used to do like 20-25 minutes of treadmill just like that when I didn't have the stroke. And I said, if this guy can do it, why can't I do it again? It's just retraining myself. The other day, I ran 1 mile on the treadmill, and that was, yes,
That was
I am
amazing.
there.
In our culture, there's a saying, if the student does so good, it's a compliment to the teacher. So it's a compliment to Debbie that he's doing so well. There's no doubt about the work ethic he has. He's always been the hardest working person I know in every sphere of life. So most of the time when life hits you with such a curveball, you kind of like that you're not expecting, you're taken aback, and you can either mope about it for the rest of your life, or you can say, okay, you know what, it's just a curveball, let me get over it and move on. It all depends on how badly you want to get better. How bad is that urge within you, desire that no matter what, we have to get better. So it wasn't a question of how much, it was like whatever it takes. That was our attitude. Whatever it takes, we're gonna get better. We controlled our diet. He lost almost 80 pounds. We just kept very focused, blinders on. This is what we want to get done, and this is it. That's our family goal. So Scott, what you're doing here is amazing. The same therapy cannot be applied to every person or every patient. And that's what we got at Fighting Back, was a completely, overall, a different approach of of a healing process, of truly a fighting back. The word itself says fight back. It never says, oh, accept status quo. Be where you are. If you get 10% better, be happy. So the goal is to get, I say my goal is 120%.
When you're fighting back, you want to know that the person who's helping you fight back cares about you. That's what matters. The environment matters.
When I came here and I saw the trainers here were pushing the boundaries, I mean, you have to be the new terminology right now is disruptor. You have to be a disruptor to be innovative in any area. I mean, here, the trainers are disruptors, truly disruptors, because they push the boundaries. They don't paint within the lines, because every person is unique. What progress he's made has been amazing.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Debbie. That was unbelievable. My name is Debbie D. Dominic, and I have the honor of training Amlan and Manny. The two of you are very special to me. I start my day with a quote about valuable values, and I apply these values to my training every day. Marshall Field once indicated the following 12 reminders that is very helpful in obtaining a sound sense of value. Value of time, success of perseverance, pleasure of working, I love my job, I love my clients, dignity of simplicity, the worth of character, the power of kindness, influence of example, obligation of duty, wisdom of economy, virtue of patience, the improvement of talent, the joy of originating. These values help me understand myself and my clients. Amlan and Manny, you are all of these values. Amlan, you never let anyone intimidate you or deter you from your goals. You fought so hard to overcome all physical handicaps and setbacks. Amlan, do you remember our first visit? Oh, I do. And I will never forget that day. I could not pronounce your name. I could not even spell it. And Manny, do you remember how many times you corrected me? Before we continued, Amlan made it very clear that he had goals, time frame, and Manny, the general, made it clear that Amlan has no limits. This couple is truly devoted to each other, and they are so funny. But this couple wanted more. So they found a PT in New Jersey named Jerry, and Manny encouraged us to communicate, and we do. We communicate by writing and just by talking to each other, discussing what we see, and that helps us improve Amlan. I admire Amlan, and he is my hero, because you motivate me to do more, be more creative, and challenge you. And boy, do I challenge you. That is when my new adventure started with Jerry and I thought I would never see a fighting back client do jumping jacks, split turns, step-ups. with split stance and a lot of other movements that I'm like saying, this is a fighting back client. Look at him move. I was impressed. And online, you are unbelievable. Manny would show, sorry, I missed my spot. Manny, all I can say is you are my motivator. You push me, and you tell me when Amlan's been a little lazy. But most of all, Amlan has two people. Manny, you are not my understudy. I am yours. Because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be watching like a hawk. I wouldn't be pushing like a bull. Or should I say bulldog? But anyway, thank you. Thank you so much for all that you do. And Amlan, keep up the good work.
Thank you. It's a great honor to see the number of winners out there in the fighting back gym and to be selected among them. It's a very big honor for me. I'm just the product of a hard work of a lot of people. I wouldn't be here because if those people were not there in my life. So let me take some moments to thank those people, some of them at least. Somebody pointed us to the Fighting Back program. The first day we went through the doors, immediately it uplifted our spirit. Hope is so real in that gym. You can reach out and touch hope there. It's fantastic environment. And I drew the short straw there. I got Sevi Initially I thought she did like me very much. From the very first day onwards, she started kicking my butt. Very first day, come on, I had a stroke, as I said in the video. She told me, Albany, the vacation is over. We had some good time, now let's get to work. And boy, she get to work. Every session was so thought out and butt kicking. I tell you. And the person who kept me focused in that journey was my wife. I might get emotional here, but she personified a lot of things for me. Compassion, friendship, determination, courage. I can go on. She was my rock. I leant on her every day. I keep leaning on her every day. I know you get married for good times and bad times. We have done also some tough times. They probably see some good times are yet to come.
Very well. For our second honoree, Will Rollins, a pillar of strength with a smile.
One of the reasons I nominated Will was really from his determination and his passion. I see him. He comes in every day with a no BS mentality. He's always calling me out, making him push harder. You know, if I tell him to do, you know, all right, we're gonna do 50 sit-ups today. He wants to do 75. You know, no breaks, no rests in between. Just wants to keep going, keep pushing. He comes in a half an hour early before his workout, and he rows for 30 minutes. He pushes himself beyond, you know, what I would think he'd be able to do.
Fine.
Got 150.
One of the worst parts of the stroke is the emotional part. It's horrible. You can't control your emotions, and I've never been like that. It's not a good thing as a guy to go through. I am a business development manager for national accounts. They were having a major problem with our largest national account. One of the big managers for the new company that we just purchased came up to me at the cocktail party and said, "Hey, I have a meeting scheduled on Monday morning," so I agreed to go with him to this sales call. It was that morning and I had the stroke right there in the kitchen. They rushed me to Paoli Hospital and they medevaced me to Jefferson Hospital in the city in the helicopter, and I specifically remember the pilot, or the EMT or whoever was in the back of the helicopter. I was head down backwards in the helicopter, and the back door was open and it was idling on the pad. The fumes were just coming into the helicopter, so I was laying there smelling the fumes. I was like, oh, I'm getting queasy with these fumes and all this stuff. Before we took off, the EMT, he had his helmet and everything on. He said, "Do not reach your arms out of the stretcher. You will adversely affect the way the aircraft flies." Anyway, we got up and tail down is how you take off typically, and it got bumpy. We weren't up very long and started boom, 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 banging and stuff, and I'm laying there and I had a clementine, a cup of yogurt, and a cup of black coffee for breakfast right before I had the stroke. I'm laying there in the helicopter and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm feeling sick. Nah, I'm alright, ignore it, you're fine. So I got away with that a little bit, and then we hit about 3 or 4 more big bumps, and it was like, woof, all of a sudden it just came up. I'm trying to get somebody's attention without adversely affecting the way the aircraft would fly, because that wouldn't be a good thing. Fighting back was awesome. So I started training with Laney in Limerick. I've been a gym rat since gyms have been around. I wanted to get back to being active and doing some things that were tough and some things that were a little bit more challenging. I go to Limerick on Wednesdays. I go to Malvern on Fridays, and Greg was the trainer there on Fridays. And he's a great kid. I'm not easy to work with, I know that, but he gives me just enough rope to hang myself, but he helps me along the whole way. He's a great kid. We constantly kind of razz each other all the time, and I kind of razz him and Jess. I've been a sales manager all my adult life, so I know how to try to help, or I think I know how to try to help motivate people to do certain things, and I try to motivate him and Jess to kick my butt into shape by kind of getting them to compete with each other a little bit in the different locations, but it doesn't work very well. They communicate too well together with each other, and so they don't fall for any of my stuff. Greg goes, yeah, well, just shut up and do it. I don't know, I don't really feel like I'm worthy of it. I mean, I look at people like Denise and people like Corey that are there that may not have the opportunity that I have to get better, teased at. People that have things like MS and things like that, you know, I told Brianna this the other day on the way home from the gym. In a way, I'm blessed. I have the opportunity over time, you know, little tiny bits to get better if I work. Some people, little tiny bits, they get worse every day. I don't know if I can survive that. They have huge hearts. People like that. I think the people that don't have that opportunity, that still fight every day to try to get better, are much stronger than I am. I'm constantly trying to push to get more heavier weights and stuff like that. And safe is overrated. There's no time for safe. It's over 3 years now. I need to get better. I don't care if I hurt myself. Let's go. But Greg holds the safety line. So does Jess.
9, 200, one more. Beautiful. There it is.
Oh yeah.
Good evening. It's a big bird you got there, man. All right. When I think back to why I nominated Will last year, I think of how he embodied our motto, courage, desire, and perseverance. He embodies courage through maintaining a very active schedule throughout his week. From horseback riding to working out with old gym buddies, he's been able to achieve a sense of normalcy in his week during fitness. Will's desire is worn on his sleeve whenever I'm with him, literally on his shirt, on the mat, it gets on me, it gets on the floor. Over 3 years ago, he had something taken from him through a stroke. Now every day he continues to fight back and rebuild what once was lost. One workout after rowing in his wheelchair for 30 minutes, he turned to me and said, "Can you check my back? I think I'm bleeding pretty bad." Sure enough, he had blood soaked down through his shirt. Karen had to help me patch him up a little bit. As his trainer, I wish he would have stopped rowing and told me sooner. There's that safety net. But as his friend, I understood his desire to finish his task. I was proud of him. Will's a very old school type of guy. If I ever give him something that's too easy for him, he calls me Jane Fonda. It's constant. I'm always Jane Fonda every day. But the joke is really on him though. He showed his age. I had to Google who Jane Fonda was. Will constantly keeps me on my toes as a trainer. There's a fine line of working hard and overdoing it. Through Will being a challenging client, he's become one of my favorite clients. You can ask any trainer here, it makes for an easy day when your client enjoys putting in the hard work. I'd like to thank Laney, Will's previous trainer, who gave me a great foundation to work on with Will that allowed him to succeed. I'd like to thank Scott for building a foundation that has given people the community has allowed them to reach their goals facing life-altering consequences. Last, I'd like to thank Karen and Brianna for continuing to take amazing care of Will. And as for Will, congratulations on the night. You earn it every day, not just in the gym. But don't party too late though, because we start at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Congrats.
Hello everyone, my name is Jess and I have the pleasure of working with Will on Wednesdays up in Limerick. The will to win means nothing without the will to prepare. This is one of my favorite quotes, and Will Rollins is the living definition of it. Each and every Wednesday, Will comes into our site at Premier Physical Therapy up in Limerick with a smile on his face and says, "Hey kiddo, let's kick this fat butt today." Without fail, every single week, one of the physical therapy clients comments on how incredible he is and how they wish they could have that drive to push themselves like he does. When they say this, Will usually laughs and shares a story of his days of being a gym rat when he would work out for 3 or 4 hours at a time, and then he keeps going with our session. It was only a few weeks into working with Will that I realized he could not have a more appropriate name because it clearly defines not only him, but also his incredible support group, many of whom I have been lucky to see each week. The willpower of this family and this man is unlike any other. They have shown that they are not afraid, and they will not back down from any fight with which they are presented. Will Rollins possesses the will to fight for the win, and that is why he has received an award here tonight. Congratulations, Will. I'm honored to work with you, and I'm excited to continue training.
It's got
weight capacity. And I'm over it. I'm not that bright. I don't know any better. Just fight back. That's it.
When I began fighting back, there was no one in my life that was fighting back that was a friend or a family member. Over the years, this has changed. Last year on Christmas Day, a family that I played sports with, went to school with, a friend I work with this program on, a pillar of my community, lost a son, brother, husband, and father. Peter Kinsley embodied the spirit of fighting back in his 2-year battle with cancer. He modeled for all of us the courage, desire, and perseverance through his day-to-day fight. He would wear a Superman shirt underneath his clothes to keep up his spirit and live by the motto, "The only easy day was yesterday." In honor of Peter, the Kinsley family and our community has created 2 scholarships, one to be given to a veteran, reflecting Peter's respect for and love for the military. Earlier tonight, the Peter Kinsley Veterans Scholarship was awarded to Lieutenant Badass Jaskell, who is fighting back from a traumatic brain injury. And although he is a Navy guy, he is very deserving of that scholarship. At this time, Ron would like to introduce you to our 3rd honoree, Troy Roundtree.
Good evening. I'll keep it short and sweet. I had the privilege of meeting with Troy 1 hour a week. But during that 1 hour, what I learned over the 2-year span is the importance of family, the importance of a father and a son, and also the importance of maintaining a connection between Troy and the son. You're going to see shortly, pictures worth 1,000 words. But what I see every Thursday is a teamwork. And what I see tonight, I see not only Troy and his parents, but also the community and the support that Troy has, not only with his parents, but also with the community. So without further ado,
when he was 10 months old, I used to take him with me to play basketball, and I would give him a basketball and let him sit over in the corner, and then he began to like the game. And so when he was 6, I'd play around with him. We got him on a couple of little bitty basketball programs, and he decided. I always told him, I said, if you want to play the game, you go ahead and play the game. But when you feel like you love the game and you want basketball to do some things for you as you can do for basketball, then I will work with you. And so one day he decided that he wanted to play basketball, and he really wanted to play. And so I got him the resources to play. I worked with him, and then I put him in a position that he became a very good player. He was a 3-year starter. His team won their conference regular season championship 3 years in a row. But he decided that basketball had taken him as far as he wanted to go. And when he graduated from college, he wanted to start a career. And he had started working in the food service field. He was a food service manager at the University of Penn for Airmark until he had his accident.
On February 8th of 2009, an ordinary day, I woke up that morning with just an ordinary day with my plans for the day. But you know how you have some days that things just don't rest well in your spirit? You just feel like something is going to happen that day. I've been presenting for years, but for some reason that day, even in between workshops, I just felt like something was going to happen. On the way home that day, I called Troy. Hey, Troy, are you okay? Is everything going well today? He's the usual. Yep. So I went on with my day. Nothing could have prepared me for what I later faced.
And I took one look at the car and know that anybody who was in a car accident like that did not walk away. So by that time, I called my wife and told her I had found the car, and she told me that they had found Troy, and that Troy was at Temple University Hospital. He was on life supports and he was in a coma.
If anything else you'll know about me is you'll have to know that I have a faith that can endure almost anything. This was during the Lenten season. I had said at Lent, that Wednesday night, God, I want a faith that I can look death in the face and still trust you. I had no idea I would be tested like this. How do you give hope when you're dying inside? How do you give hope when the person you talk to every day, all day, can't talk back to you? Troy and I talked every day. He would call me from work, Mom, what are you doing? Mom, what are you cooking for dinner? The pain of missing Troy was so bad. He didn't know, he can't talk back. When I think of this day, even now, I become so emotional. I said to Troy, I've come back and forth. I love you more than breathing. Troy, if you have any idea that I'm here, if you feel my love, grip my hand. Troy gripped my hand so hard until it was shaking. I said, Troy, is this real? I want this to happen so much. Maybe I'm imagining. Troy, do you know it's Mom? Grip my hand. My hand was shaking. I knew then that my baby was going to make it.
We have never given up, never lost faith that he was going to be, we bring him back to some level of independence. And we don't let him, I mean, one of the things they say, well, you know, generally young, because he's very young, and he was very young when he had the accident. That was a major plus in this situation. And they would say, you know, they were worried about him getting depressed, and no, he can't get depressed. He can't get depressed. He's an athlete. They work through whatever it is, and I said, I would always go to him and say, tell us what milestones he needs to make. And when they were getting ready to transfer him, trying to decide whether he was going to transfer him to a long care facility or to a rehab, he said in order to go to a rehab, he has to pass these tests. And then the doctor said, well, he can't move his left side. Well, what they didn't know was I had been working with him, and my wife would tell you to acknowledge him. So they said, he just won't do it. I said, okay, what you want him to do? He said, he needs to lift his left leg. So I went and touched him once, just said, Troy, look at me, lift your left leg. He lifted his left leg. I said, Troy, lift your left arm. He lifted his left arm. The doctor said, well, he won't do that. She said, this is what you do. You walk to him, you get right in his face and get his attention. I said, now he'll do anything you ask him to do. Now he'll lay there. If you don't ask him to do nothing, he's going to lay there. But if you ask him to do something, he will do it.
I have a wonderful friend by the name of Kate. We have worked together for many years. She and I always had a great time, but we sat on the same interdisciplinary team at work. So I already knew that she was the best. I think she's the best.
I used to see him once a week, and he would come into the gym, and him and I would work one-on-one for about an hour, and he was the most dedicated, hardworking patient I've ever seen. When, after about a year of working with me, I felt like I had really reached the capacity of help that I could give him. So I was looking for other programs to introduce him to, and this program came up, the Fighting Back, and I knew he would be perfect for it. I knew that he would be nominated. His family support is amazing. His mother, his father, they are just the perfect family. I mean, they help each other through everything. I've seen in my 30 years of being a physical therapist a lot of families that give up on a person or just accept what has happened as being the only thing that can happen, and they are constantly searching, and he's constantly working for improvement.
He looks forward to coming every Thursday. Troy will tell you, don't forget I go Thursday. Troy, I won't forget. Even if the weather is bad, Troy is pulling out his sweats and he's getting ready. And I don't need to tell you, Jim is all in the mix. I mean, he thinks he's Ron's assistant. But the main thing is he's so happy with Troy's gains, and he wants so much to see Troy go back to where he was. You're talking somebody who could throw a basketball full court. You're talking somebody who was extremely strong. I can't tell you what this means to us. First of all, the opportunity to come. It's a joy to even be here. But then when you realize the gains that your child has made when he was so sick. People have accidents. We're not exempt from pain. Everybody has it. But our family has been through it, and we were able to survive based on our faith, based on the support of family, friends, and now with Scott Dillman, Bill Orr, people who have become household names for us when we speak of people. This means more than you'll ever know.
It means that all I do me, and I can share the experience with my people. My mom and dad and Lucas. He pushes me hard as he can, possibly, so that I can know that I gave it my all.
Troy, we present this Superman shirt. Peter Kingsley's fighting spirit.
Thank you.
And the spirit that you and your family bring to every session.
First and foremost, I give all glory to God. I would like to thank my dad, my mom, and Lucas, because they are my team. My dad brings me back and forth every Thursday without fail. I live by certain morals and principles, and the number one thing that I say thus far is family first, because throughout all of this, that's where my help comes from. I would also like to thank Brian and the whole Fighting Back team.
Yeah.
Along with Debbie and Kate, I know I can't be the easiest person to work with. And to say that I told Kate and Dr. Rao given the opportunity that hard work would pay off. I would like to thank my entire Rado family. One young minister who I had the pleasure of working with told me to stay encouraged. That is what I am going to do. And finally, my mom always told me, don't limit God, and I don't. So, thank you all, and I love you.
I just want to say one thing. A couple months ago, while I was watching, I believe it was the Super Bowl, I saw a commercial. The commercial was for a Volvo. And it showed that this Volvo had been in a terrible accident and nobody saw the individuals. And it left you wondering what happened to the people. And at the end of the commercial, at each junction in the commercial, somebody said they lived. Well, now you can put a face with that horrible accident because he lived.
Stay on the microphone, altering Scott's plan for a brief second. I'm giving this to Scott Tillman.
Troy, you're the first person that ever read that off the phone. Pretty good, right? As you can see, our organization makes a huge difference in the lives of the people we touch. And that is why we need your help. Our goal tonight is to raise $10,000. For your convenience, we have arranged with Penn Liberty to accept credit card donations at the registration table. And additionally, your program contains a donation envelope where we can take check donations. I invite our many supporters to join our champion circle with donations of $1,000 or more. Please give whatever you can. It will make a huge difference in helping us reach our goal. Each and every one of you can help keep this spirit alive. I thank you in advance for your support. Tonight, we have witnessed the courage, desire, and perseverance of Amlan, Will, and Troy, and the incredible love and support of their families. What you have seen and heard is the journey that Amlan, Will, and Troy have lived and continue to live each and every day. And yet, in spite of their obstacles, they become the teachers for all of us. They teach us what really matters in life, the importance of our faith, the enduring love of our family and friends, and the commitment to become stronger people. Thank you for coming. Good night.